my only son, don't you ever tell lies. I want all of you to take a moment and imagine your heart's greatest desire, the thing that you want more than any other thing. Now, I want you to imagine something. The pain involved in having that something ripped from your grasping hands in the most brutal manner possible. Now finally ask yourselves, how far would you go for revenge, vengeance, justice, retribution, or whatever word that you will use to justify the means to your ends? Now with that question answered, and without any further ado, I proudly present to all of you, Victor by W.H Auden. It was a frosty December. Victor was only 18, but his figures were neat, his margins were straight, and his cuffs were always clean. He took a room at the Peveril, a respectable boarding house. In time, watched over Victor like a cat watches the mouse. The clerks would slap Victor on the shoulder. Have you ever had woman, they'd say, come down with us on Saturday night? But Victor would simply smile and shake his head. The manager sat in his office, smoked a Corona cigar, said, Victor's a decent fellow and all, but he's too mousy to go far. Victor went up into his bedroom. He set the alarm bell. He climbed into bed and he took out his Bible and read what happened to Jezebel. It was the 1st of April. Anna to the Peveril came. Her eyes, her lips, her breast, her hips, and her smile set men aflame. She looked as pure as a schoolgirl on her first communion day, but her kisses were like the best champagne when she gave herself away. It was the 2nd of April. She was wearing a coat of fur. Victor, he met her upon the stair, and, well, he fell in love with her. The first time he made his proposal, she laughed. She said, I'll never wed. The second time there was a pause. But she smiled and shook her head. Anna looked into the mirror. She pouted and she gave a frown. Said, Victor is as dull as a wet afternoon. Oh, but I've got to settle down. The 3rd time he made his proposal, as they walked by the reservoir, she gave him a kiss, like a blow to the head. She said, you are my heart's desire. They were married in early August. She said, kiss me, you funny boy. And Victor, he took her in his arms, and he said, oh, my Helen of Troy. It was the middle of September. Victor, he came into the office one day. He was wearing a flower in his buttonhole. He was late, but he was gay. The clerks were talking of Anna. The door was just ajar. One said, poor old Victor, our ignorance is bliss, etc. Victor stood as still as a statue. The door was just ajar. One said, God, what fun I had with her in that baby Austin car. Victor walked out into the high streets. He walked to the edge of town, and he came to the allotments and the rubbish heaps. And his tears came tumbling down. Victor looked up at the sunset. As he stood there all alone, he cried, are you in heaven? Father? But the sky said, address not now. Victor looked up at the mountains all covered in snow, crying, are you pleased with me? Father! And the answer came back, no. Victor came to the forest, crying, Father! Father! witches all shook their heads and said, "Not to you." Victor came to the meadow where the wind went sweeping by. He cried, "Oh, Father, I love her so!" But the wind said, "She must die." Victor came to the river, running so deep, so still. He cried, "Oh, Father, what shall I do?" And the river answered, "Kill." Anna was sitting at the table, drawing cards from a pack. Anna was sitting at the table, waiting for her husband to come back. It wasn't the Jack of Diamonds, nor the Joker she drew first. It wasn't the king nor the queen of hearts, no. It was the ace of spades, reversed. Victor stood in the doorway. He didn't utter a word. She said, "What's the matter, darling?" He behaved as if he hadn't heard. There was a voice in his left ear. There was a voice in his right. There was a voice at the base of his skull saying, "She must die tonight!" Victor picked up the carving knife. His features were set and drawn. He said, "Anna, it would have been better for you if you had never been born." Anna jumped from the table. Anna started to scream. But Victor, he came slowly after her, said, "Prepare to meet thy God." She managed to wrench open the door. She ran, and she didn't stop. But Victor, he followed her up the stairs, and he said, and he caught her at the top. He stood there, above the body. He stood there, holding the knife. And the blood ran down the stairs, and it sang, "I am the resurrection and the life." They tapped Victor on the shoulder. They took him away in a van. He sat as quiet as a lump of moss, saying, "I am the Son of Man." He sat in the corner, making a woman of clay, saying, "I am the Alpha and the Omega, and I shall come to judge this world someday."
How do I stop this?